Welcome back. The birthday of His Majesty, the Emperor of Japan, is one of the most important holidays for Japanese people. Now, according to the Japanese ambassador, today they celebrate His Majesty's 62nd birthday and are inviting the people of the Philippines to share the joy of this day together. And on this special occasion, Ambassador Koshikawa is sending his message of congratulations on His Majesty's birthday and touches on the long-standing close relations between Japan and the Philippines. Let's listen in.
His Excellency President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Honorable Secretary of Foreign Affairs Theodore Locsin Jr., the people of the Philippines, I share the joy of the entire Japanese people as we commemorate today the 62nd birthday of His Majesty the Emperor of Japan. This delightful occasion is even more meaningful because we are able to celebrate it with the people of the Philippines. To begin with, Typhoon Odette caused catastrophic damage to the Philippines last December. On behalf of the government of Japan, I would like to once again express my heartfelt sympathy to all those who have been affected. In the meantime, the world remains clouded by the unprecedented crisis brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, we have observed a decreasing trend in the number of infections here in the Philippines. In a prolonged fight against COVID-19, Japan has been with the Philippines every step of the way. We will strive to keep strengthening our cooperative relationship. On our path to recovery from the pandemic, we will ensure that no one will be left behind. Yet, regardless of struggles happening around us, there still lies a great deal of good news. Especially the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and Paralympics Games scored a huge success. Both the Philippine and the Japanese public were immensely inspired by the Filipino Olympians and the Paralympians, especially Ms. Hairilin Diaz. Her outstanding attainment of first Olympic gold medal for the Philippines deserved my warmest congratulations once again. Turning our eye to the situation in the Indo-Pacific region, the regional security environment is becoming more testing and uncertain at a remarkably faster speed. Given the situation, what is important is close cooperation among like-minded countries bounded by such universal values and principles as freedom, democracy, and rule of law. In particular, the sustainment of the maritime order in South China Sea is directly connected to the protecting our global commons. I believe this can only be achieved not through the force or coercion, but through the action based on the principle of the rule of law. This is why the Philippines is one of our most reliable partners, and Japan highly values the Philippines' effort to pursue the peaceful settlement of dispute on the basis of international law, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The Philippines' renewed commitment to the Arbitral Tribunal's award issued in 2016 is its eloquent testament. Importantly, Prime Minister Kishida reaffirmed Japan's support for the Philippines' position at the summit telephone talk held with President Duterte last November. In 2017, then Prime Minister Abe announced Japan's commitment of 1 trillion yen, roughly 500 billion pesos, both government assistance and private investment, for state building of the Philippines. This pledge was fulfilled within its 5 years period, despite the challenges arising from the pandemic. The public and private financing was effectively utilized and thus created substantial results in various fields, including vitalization of the Philippine economy through the numerous big-ticket infrastructure projects and facilitation of the Mindanao peace process, the improvement of healthcare and medical system, and modernization of the Philippine Coast Guard maritime law enforcement capacity. I'm also greatly looking forward to the ongoing Metro Manila subways and North-South commuter railway project improving the living standard of the Filipinos in the near future. Our two countries have been heading over to a better future together. I say with confidence, the bond between Japan and the Philippines will continue to be immutable. I expect the Philippines will continue to regard Japan as a reliable partner. Meanwhile, it is also our sincere desire to further nurture our relations with the Philippines, a country blessed with young and talented people and thus full of potentials. I'd like to conclude my message by sincerely wishing for the continued good health of His Majesty, the Emperor of Japan, and His Excellency President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, and for the everlasting friendship between Japan and the Philippines.